Everything now. Okay, so hello everyone. Today is um Saturday, October the 28th, and we are about to just talk. We're gonna have an open discussion, and we're talking about all things Halloween. Whatever your favorite thing costume was in childhood, or who you hope to be one day in as a costume, or scary movies that we were kind of talked about right before we came on, or if we have any scary stories that you might want to tell. All things Halloween today. So that's it. So would anyone like to open us up in prayer? Okay, I will. So let's just settle back for a moment to know that we are connected to the source, the one essence that gives all its love, all of itself into each individualized being. And this thing that we call life, this thing that we call intelligence, this thing that we call heart and mind, we are filled with that source. We are filled with that essence. So the real us, the inner true us, is an aspect of that source. And today we're so excited because today we get to have some fun. We're going to have some fun talking about things that make our adrenaline function and make our heart skip a beat. But we can always rest assured that we are completely and totally protected, completely and totally provided for, completely and totally surrounded by love and guardianship. And as we consider these things and know these things and have joy in these things and relish and revel in these things, let's just also release any fears, any doubts, any harmful thoughts, any negative self-talk that we have in our hearts or minds. Let's just release them. Just put them out into the universe, and the universe will take care of that itself. And with that, we say, oh, but first, I would like to just pray for what is going on in all of these war-torn countries. Everyone who is contemplating war, anyone who is in a war, anyone who has been harmed or dismembered, or have people who have died in a war. Let's just pray for peace to their hearts and their minds and their lands. And in that realm of where peace comes from, may peace reside in that place. And with that, I say, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Okay, well, who wants to start off with the spooky stuff? Okay, well, let's just kind of start off with what we know about Halloween. What are our thoughts about Halloween, and what is it that we know about Halloween?
Well, I'll take the mic real quick. I enjoy Halloween a lot. As far as the history of understanding it and where it comes through, and understanding that people were looking towards seeing a barrier between what they call physical world and what they call the spiritual world, and looking at it to a point that at a certain point in time those worlds became thin, and so we could pass through both sides so easily, and understanding what it is and what can get through, and how to either deal with a situation, or to also just to, like you were just saying, come into peace with loved ones that have passed, people who have gone on through wars or desperate situations where you can honor them as well. So I see the balance on both ends, and I again I enjoy both parts of it.
Cool. Yeah, one of the things that I think about Halloween is, and I think every culture has a day like this. Um, I don't, I don't know. I think it was like maybe in the late '80s, when, especially when the moral majority got kind of in charge during the '80s, that we became afraid of Halloween, because Halloween was always a fun time for us as kids. Halloween was always, and my having been raised a Catholic, I understood that it didn't have anything to do with fear. It had to do with our honoring the people who had passed on, especially those who had passed on within that calendar year, because the veil was still very close. Ooh, oh, this is Joanne. Hold on. Y'all go ahead and talk.
Okay. For me, Halloween is better than Christmas because it was about getting the best candy. How much candy could we get? So as a child, it was better than Christmas because it was about candy. So I was like, how much candy could I get? I was always looking forward to candy because it was better than Christmas because I knew I'd be getting a lot of candy.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Forrest. And Halloween candy is always better than Christmas candy. I don't know what it is. Christmas candy ain't never really good, but Halloween candy is the best.
Yes.
Well, for me, growing up out in the country, the only opportunity that I had to celebrate Halloween was at school, and every year at school, all the way through school, it was they had a Halloween party at some point in time during the day, and that's it. And if I didn't remember to take my costume with me, I didn't get to parade around, and get to be in the competition for the funniest or ugliest or whatever kind of prizes they gave out for Halloween. But my scariest moment as far as Halloween is concerned came when I was an adult. Again, we were living out in the country, and my oldest son, I had both of my sons by that time. And a neighbor and I took our kids and they put them all in my car, which was a compact. And we took them around we drove to different properties in the neighborhood. And we went to this one farmhouse. Everything was dark, no lights, no nothing, nowhere. And so I pulled into the yard and I turned around. And when I turned my head to look out the window, there was this Great Dane eyeballing me. Eyeballed, scared the daylights out of me.
Oh, goodness.
Like I said, that was my scariest Halloween moment.
Hey, Joanne, so glad you can make it, girl.
And belated happy birthday.
And belated happy birthday.
I don't know how long I can be on here with y'all, but I said, look, if I'm not with them just an hour, because I got some cooking and stuff to do. We're going to celebrate my birthday today.
I know that's
Today's your birthday?
No, it was Wednesday. I'm blessed. I made 74, Forrest.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I still got my right mind, so I'm doing okay.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. I have them senior moments, but that's okay.
Don't we all?
Yes, yes. So how's everybody else doing?
Doing wonderful. Glad to hear your voice.
Yeah, glad to hear yours too. I said, now wait a minute. This thing ain't starting till 4 here. I know I got cooking to do, but I can just take a little time, like I said, even if I'm not here just for the hour and I have to bow out, I know you all understand.
Absolutely.
course.
But what we're, we're just having an open discussion today. It's just a fun day. We're just talking about Halloween and what
Okay.
Halloween has, what are our memories of Halloween, say as a child, or anything, or what is it that you know about Halloween?
All I knew is that as kids, I wanted to get dressed up, in a costume and just go collect candy and have fun.
Mhm.
Those are my memories of Halloween, having a good time with the neighborhood kids. Who got the most candy and what kind of candy we got?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't come. I'm not from that era. I think they started that when my kids were younger, where they were saying razors was in apples and people giving kids bad stuff. I
Yeah.
didn't go through that. Halloween was, I didn't know that it was some people. I got one daughter that don't even acknowledge Halloween, but when she was a kid, she did. Some people think of witches and stuff. They take that serious. You know that, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of what we were talking about in the beginning. I think that kind of started off with when what's his name, Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson and Ronald Reagan, that moral majority came up, and they decided that that Halloween was an evil holiday.
And
Just
yeah,
basically probably because it was had to do more with Catholicism here in America anyway.
okay.
But when you think about it, all of that whole stuff about the people having stuff in their candies, that was one man killing his family for the money because he owed money because he
Ain't
had
that
to
terrible?
pay off his debt. So he was
That's
killing his
terrible.
children. He was killing his children by putting razor blades and poison in the candy at so that he could kill his children.
That's terrible.
So it was one man.
Where was this at? Do you know? Do you know where this took place at, Penelope?
I can remember, and I probably can look it up, but I think it was somewhere in the north, like Philadelphia, some city place.
But
I do remember it was in the north.
But just think, Ronald Reagan, Farewell, all those supposed to be righteous people, they did more undercover dirty stuff than a little bit.
Oh, really? Still are.
They just wanted control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They wanted control.
And that's far scarier than anything.
Yes, it is.
That was in the dark. Yeah.
How do y'all feel about? I mean, it shook me up because it happened the evening of my birthday. That man with the mass killing in Lewiston, Maine, killing 18
people.
Yes.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah, I know. I just seen the news that they found him dead.
Actually, I'm sad. I'm saddened for him because he had a mental condition, and it was untreated. And this is what we do to our veterans.
And
so
I think it's a shame.
we don't help them when they need help.
Yes.
And when they go out here and they do something that harms themselves and others, then we all want to say, oh, look, let's have thoughts and prayers. But instead of helping,
thoughts and prayers are fine, but doing something to help alleviate the pain and suffering those individuals are going through
from the beginning. And why does he have a gun in the first place? I mean, it was it was noted that he had mental issues.
Exactly. And the gun that he used, according to the news reports that I heard, he bought that after he was diagnosed or had been treated.
Absolutely. So that's far scarier. That's far scarier.
It is. I mean, my sincere condolences. I mean, to those that lost. I mean, a lot of innocent people died. But I agree with you. We don't help here at home. I'm looking at this nation. When I was younger, I'm not making like I'm the oldest thing in the world now, but it was homeless, but not like this. You had Bowery Street downtown New York City. That's where the homeless stayed. Now you see people sleeping on Fifth Avenue and whatnot. It's
With jobs,
and
you can have a
It's
job and be
everywhere.
homeless.
yes,
You can
and
have
it's
a job and be
happening,
homeless, and all
and
of that. And
it's not in just one area, it's all over this nation now.
Yes.
yeah, and those are the things, and those are the monsters that we have to deal with now. You know,
Yes.
like I said,
Yeah.
you know, I would rather watch Walking Dead. I can watch a marathon of Walking Dead. I would let the children watch brains being eaten. Besides having to, you know, to sit around and watch politics or the ID channel. You know,
Well, how do you feel about this new man who's the representative, the House rep? What's his name? They said he's a racist. He's from Louisiana. I don't even know the man's name.
He's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
That's what they said. That's what I heard on the news this morning. Why do they say that, Harriet?
Because, okay, the former speaker and the ones that they had nominated, I think with maybe one exception, all that you knew exactly where they were coming from because they had expressed. This guy has played his role in the shadows. He has not made himself known. He has not made himself he has not publicized himself and so he comes up and he has the look of an innocent, and not having expressed it's his look that gives you the impression that, oh yeah, he's good, he's safe.
But he's not.
Well, he looks creepy to me. He got a bow tie and everything. But you know, one of the things that, you know, he's only been in politics since 2016.
Oh, wow.
So that he is now the third in line for the presidency.
Yeah, what is his position? The House of Representatives?
Speaker
of the
House.
Well, he's the Speaker of the House now, but he came from,
Speaker of the House. Okay, I just
he speaks. So he's third in line to be president. Right. This man could be the president.
Actually, he's second because Kamala Harris is first, and he.
Well, yeah, but he's third in line to be president.
Right.
Yeah.
Got what you're saying.
There's
so you saying it?
There's the president, vice president, and there's the Speaker of the House.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
They said that he's controlled by Trump.
He is.
Well, you know, and
Well, I think the whole house
I don't even think that Trump is controlling anybody. I think they are in league with Trump. I think that they are doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And do y'all see that they turning on Trump? His lawyers and stuff, everybody that went along with the vote was stolen and now. Do you see everybody is pleading guilty? I can't believe it.
Well, I mean,
Bonnie Willis knew what she was doing. Bonnie Willis knew exactly what she was doing when she indicted all 19 of those people, because she knew that by indicting all of those individuals, eventually there would be enough that would be willing to come forward and speak the truth.
The truth always comes forward.
And speak the truth and turn the tables on Trump, because they know, they are seeing that he is not going to do anything to dig them out. The only person he wants to save is his own.
That's all.
Well, again,
and I don't understand how they went along with it after the shenanigans he was doing anyhow.
Well, real quick, again, this is their party and they are in charge of it. We can have this conversation upon what we think that they're doing right, what we think that they're doing wrong. But whether or not either we voted and we didn't have enough on our side to stop this situation, or we know so many people who chose not to vote and do not understand that when you make a choice like that, it does have effects. And I think that is where it is in the naivety of us who do understand at least a little bit about voting and how it works, whether you just vote for the president every 4 years or you know how to vote for where you live in your area, in your state, in your federal homes where we
Right.
actually live. Most people don't even pay attention to that. Like
I do.
most people do, but most people in my generation don't. You know, you ask most people in my generation, they'll tell you plain flat out and simple, I ain't voting for nothing or nobody.
Yeah,
So
don't.
you
Yeah.
have that, and if you have that situation that's going on, then
Mhm.
what do you have? You're gonna get the complaints of people saying, well, this ain't fair because I don't understand why I went this way. Because you didn't vote. You,
Right.
That's right.
you didn't vote.
That's exactly right.
You let the monsters in your household. You let these
Exactly.
people, we all let these people, because whether we chose to either elect or chose not to participate has put us in
Mhm.
that type of position. You know, yeah, we have a president of the United States, but most people will sit there and say, well, he's the president of the United States. He's supposed to have all the power. He has less power than anyone else. And like I
You
said,
right.
and like I say, I don't get into a conversation anymore with people unless you can tell me about voting or politics, unless you can tell me the three branches of government. If you can't
Right.
tell me the three branches of government, I don't want to have a conversation with you on how you think that this world works, or how you feel about America, because you don't even know how it works.
It really,
Yeah.
And you don't vote.
really. And that's exactly how Trump got into office, because people refused to vote. They wouldn't make the choice between what is considered the lesser of two evils.
Mhm.
And that's a horrible way to look at it. It really is. I mean, for us to say that this is which one is the lesser of two evils? No
But
one wants to vote for anything evil.
Evil.
So, you know, you have to go in there with the responsibility, knowing that you are doing good. And, you know, that's one of the things that the news kept reporting. Then, you know, which one is the lesser of two evils? You know, this and that. And so now we are comparing green apples and red apples, and we're calling them all evil. And if
Exactly.
we would just get away from that type of concept, thinking that there is one person is evil, because the president does not have all of the power. I mean, we have checks and balances for that very reason.
Mhm.
that's why we have three
That's what we
branches
are.
of government.
And that's what we should be thinking about, and that's what we should be fighting against, because that's what that part of the party at this point in time, I don't want to call names or anything, but that's what that part of the party is doing at this point in time, to change us from where we are a democracy to a monarchy. One thing that most people, again, most people will not know, when they came out after the forefathers, whether it be George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Madison, all of them. When they got this declaration and put it together, and they sat down in Philadelphia, when they came out of that house, the people asked, "What do we have? Do we have a democracy or a monarchy?"
Right.
Thomas Jefferson explained that. He said, "We have a democracy as long as the people can hold on to it. But if the
Right.
people are not holding on to it because the people do not understand it for one reason or another,
Lazy.
or could care less to understand it,
Part of it has
then
to do with our educational system, because they teach social studies anymore?
yeah,
No.
Yeah, they do.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
Yeah,
yeah,
do.
but in what form? Do they teach
Oh,
the
I don't.
Constitution? Do they teach about
yeah.
our rights
I
as
mean,
citizens? I
yeah,
mean,
I
these are
took
things that
civics.
I learned when I was going through
Yeah,
school.
I took civics. I actually got to take civics in the 8th grade. Before you even take those classes in the 12th grade, I got to take them in the 8th grade. Does
Mhm.
did you know do Is that a part? Yes, but do we pay attention? Do we sit around the dinner table and actually teach our children who these people are? No, we don't. We just we cry, we bitch, we piss and moan. We bitch and moan. Well, Joe Biden did the crime bill in 1993 and this, that, and the fifth. Do you know what the hell was going on in 1993? It was crack running rampant. People were killing each other left and right. We asked for that. We asked for that to stop. We asked for them to say, wait a minute, okay, we're going to give you 3 strikes. The 3-strike rule was something that was written, yes, by Joe Biden, but was asked by the people. Did it work 100% correctly? No, it didn't. Was it abused in so many different circumstances? Yeah, it was. But we as a people were asking for that.
Right.
We as a people. So that's because our children were out of control, our mothers were out of control, our fathers were out of control at that point in time, and there had to be something that was going to go on. And now you have a generation of children who were not raised, who did not get the proper education, who now have children of their own. Either they've been in trouble because they followed certain footsteps or went down certain paths, so they either can't vote or don't know how to vote or could care less about voting, and they tell their children about this. And so it's a blame game all the way around. And the people need to stand up when it comes to this. And that's the difference. But that's kind of where we're to segue back into our conversation of what's going on. That's what gives monsters their power, when they can separate us. That's what gives evil
divide and conquer.
its power,
Yes,
because it can
they
divide.
say.
Exactly, it divides and conquers. And if it can catch you by yourself, there's nothing more than a human fears is to be in a situation by themselves. You back us in a corner, it's worse than you can back a cage lion in a corner and they will attack. You back a human in a corner by themselves, they conform.
Cower.
They will conform.
Exactly.
So that's the that's that evil, that's that darkness, that's that control, and where we were speaking of is where we see most of our scary movies and things like that. It's a control point of view that
I don't like scary movies. Never did.
Well, how about not even a scary movie, but just even like a sci-fi movie like
or
Godzilla,
a thriller, or some you know, a
I
spy
like
movie.
nothing with a whole lot of blood. I never did from a kid.
Yeah.
See, I would rather, me personally, I would rather see gore from zombies and vampires and ghosts, because they are not real. They are not going to affect my life. I mean, I can turn the TV off and I might have a bad dream, but I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm not gonna be confronted with a vampire, a ghost, or a zombie. But I will be confronted with a
Donald Trump at
president.
my damn door.
I will be confronted by a president who is doing schemes on the back end, which what Reagan did. You know, Reagan brought crack into this nation. It was him trying to fund the Sandinistas and help Noriega. He's the one that brought the crack into the neighborhood and put it in the black neighborhoods, and so that, of course, because we are always the scapegoat. But anyway, I don't want to digress into that. I don't want to digress
you know
into
what?
that.
No, I understand what you're saying, because look at, all right, he put it in the neighborhood, but did he ever think he'd see it killing their neighborhoods now, even the well-known neighborhoods?
They don't care. They don't care. That's why you just said, you know, you started the conversation with what happened. What about the man in Lewiston? You know, they don't care. They don't care about their people. They care about themselves. They care about what they can do, what they can get out of it, and what type of power and control is you know, they're going to have in their hot little hands while they're alive. They don't care about their children or grandchildren or their next door neighbor or anybody else.
Yeah,
you know?
And I think that's that community that is missing, and I think that's why we don't get to celebrate in that loss. We don't get to celebrate a holiday as Halloween as we did when we were children, as we can remember growing up. I always hate to say that, but I do say it. when it comes to my children, I tell them, I'm like, I think my generation, I pray for y'all generation to when it comes to having fun. We're that last generation that kind of got that sense of community where
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
we
I hear what
yeah,
you're saying, T man.
versus where that comes from. That's scary to me.
Yeah, that's much
That's
more
scary to
scary.
me.
Yeah. I don't watch movies where, there's a serial killer out, because there are real serial killers.
Yep.
You can serial killers right around the corner. Those people had a stay in place alert because of
Yeah, I
this one
see
man
that.
that was out.
Yeah, they couldn't go to
know?
school, they couldn't go to work.
He
Yeah,
terrorized that
You know?
whole town. Did he take his own life? Do
he
anyone know?
did.
Yeah,
did.
it seems that he took his own life.
He did.
But I mean, Penn, where you even mentioned that, and that's a trip that you said that too, Miss Joe, because like one of the most highly treasured, one of the highly treasured scary movies is Alfred Hitchcock Psycho. There's no, if you look at Psycho, there's no blood in the movie at
Oh
all.
no, I like something
So
like that, but I'm talking
they
about when
show
they cut.
no blood.
I like something like that. That's from my generation. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I can deal with that, but this cut chainsaw and they make it look so, I don't want to see all that.
And
Slicing
even
each other's throat. I don't want to see that.
even there, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If
I
you really
remember
watch
that.
the movie, there's no blood. You see no blood. You see no one get their head chopped off. You do not see the actual violence from these movies compared to when they
What you see
remade
now.
when
Well,
they
that was
remade the
because they had a
movies.
different rating system.
Yeah.
We had a what was it called? A moral,
But it never.
moral clause. There was
But
a
if you
moral
watch it
clause that
now,
went with it.
yeah, but if you watch them now, they still stand the test of time, even without the gore and the blood and those
Yeah,
movies
yeah,
still stand the test of
They're
time.
classics.
Yeah,
yeah.
no matter however they were shot, it wasn't like, okay, we need it for shock value and the awe, and we want the audience. It was to draw you in, and that's what makes these movies stand the test of time, or makes these characters stand out from every other one. Same thing. Even if you go into my generation, where you have Michael Myers in Halloween, there's no blood in that movie.
Yeah.
You may see someone get stabbed, or you may see the action of something, but there's no. It's not blood all over the place. It's not smeared all over the thing. I think one of the bloodiest movies I think I can actually remember in my generation, which was very a trip again, was the original, the first Nightmare on Elm Street, when he picked that girl up in that dream and drug her all over the ceiling and everything. That was scary. That was like, okay. And when he pulled Johnny Depp into the bed, and then all of a sudden that blood just shot all over the place,
You talking
you were
about
like,
Freddy
oh my
Krueger?
God. Yes.
See, I didn't. I stopped. That's when that type of stuff came out. That's when I stopped sitting down watching it with the kids.
Yeah.
But then,
Those
but by
original,
that time, shock and value was added.
the shock and awe was in.
Shock and awe was added to the value, and that's the thing that made money, and money talks, and that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing, because money changed that whole moral clause. And yeah, some things I do understand that some things did need to be more realistic. If you had a true story, it was it was better to see the whole truth, as opposed to some things that were squirreled away so that you didn't see it. But it didn't. But to do it just for the shock value, and so that you can make more money off of it, and those are the things that have happened in Hollywood and television, and now very you don't they do have there are very few shows that they have that where it's just only thrills. it's you know, it's always some type of explosion, it's always some type of shooting, guns, 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 guns. America loves crime and guns and stuff like that. So, you know, so it's those things like that that just add into that, you know, to that, you know, the public's fodder. We, you know, they will probably lose money. They would
It's all
probably
about
lose
media
money
too.
if they're going to have a thriller that doesn't, you know, where somebody isn't, where you don't see some kind of blood or something.
What made this man? I understand you said he had mental problems. He was military, but just, I mean, when I seen on TV, he was on camera with a full rifle. I don't understand.
He had been trained by the military because he was
And he was
military.
and he was a guns expert, and he also trained people.
Mm-hmm.
And he was training people to kill people.
Yeah, because that's what you do in the military.
Yeah.
That's his
As
job.
well as
That was his job. Yeah.
as well as the state that he lives in, which is open carry throughout the whole state. You can walk
Yeah.
around with a bazooka if you want to.
Mm.
They
As
kept
long as you got money to
emphasizing,
pay for that
As
license.
long as you got money to pay for it, you can walk around with it.
and I find it interesting that the news kept emphasizing the fact that, well, the initial count was 22, but it once it was all boiled down, it's only 18.
18.
But they
Well,
said
they
the
get a
last
thrill
year
out of
there were only
centralizing it.
there were only 29 murders in the whole state of Maine last year in 2022.
So what that mean?
18 belong to him.
It was probably 18
It's
that died.
it
More
ain't
than half.
funny.
18 belong
It's
and
more
18
than
belong to him. So
18 that
Yes.
died,
no,
but
no. What I'm saying is 18 in this mass murder. In the year
Uh-huh.
in the year 2022, there were only 29 homicides the whole year, and they
Yeah.
were basically had to do with domestic disputes.
Okay. I got you now. I got you now. Well, what do y'all feel about this war? Do you think that we're gonna end up in it? We're in it. Ain't no think. Like they got
Yeah.
ships out there. I don't understand. I never understood the conflict between the Palestinians and, if I'm saying that right, and the Israelis. I don't understand it. Why they hate each other and they all Jewish.
because they're
Well,
Jews.
because they're not.
you know, there's
Because they're not.
Right.
they're all cousins. They're all
They're
all
all
the same people.
They're
you know,
all
you got to go way back in history.
I've been trying
They
to.
have been fighting over that one strip of land since Abraham.
And now this land
At some point in time.
exactly.
But the last reason that the last reason that they have the war now is from 1948 when the Jews from Germany needed a home, and they sent them back to their homeland, and the United Nations gave them the land that gave them that land, and the people that were there, the Palestinians that were there, they kicked them out and put them in that little rubble section. Built the
but
wall
Netanyahu,
come in.
He's bombing Netanyahu. He's bombing Gaza like nothing. All those innocent children and women. It's like he's trying to just flatten that, kill them all.
Yeah, because they have been taught and raised to hate them.
Yeah.
Right.
They have been taught and raised to hate them, and that's what hatred does. You don't see them as children. You see them as future enemies.
Oh Lord. I'm not gonna make sense of it. I'm just praying for peace, to come. Because to see them babies,
and just to kind of get back on the subject a little bit of Halloween.
Yes.
Me personally, I don't believe that death exists. I think that there is a continuation of life. The who we are on the inside, the real us, is not these bodies. So the real us cannot die.
You've always said that.
The real us can't die. So everybody's going to die at some point in time anyway.
Yes.
So, it's so it might seem callous to say that they're killing children, but everybody has a time. We all have expiration dates here.
Yes, yes.
You know, so
This,
you know,
this
nobody.
vessel does. This vessel, this body does.
Yeah, this body. You know, this consciousness. It has an expiration date. We don't
But our
know when.
spirit lives on. Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So
Exactly.
if we don't see anybody as dying, if we see them as being released into their wholeness, then we could us, those who are of us, we can begin to pray and believe that their strength in their spirit will be able to heal that area, because maybe that's what they maybe that was what their lesson. I mean, maybe that was what their mission was, their assignment was.
Yeah,
Is to leave here quickly so that they can monitor the situation and help it heal.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, those things, you know, we have so much fear based on.
No, it's not that I fear. It's not because I know I'm going to die one day. I'm not looking
No,
at
but the rest of the world does. When you hear that there's a war going on, it brings us shock and fear. Might not bring it to you in particular, but it brings it to everybody else. And we all can feel that.
Yeah. What it brings to me, what I get upset about is that me being a Black woman, I know if they really put the United States in conflict, I have relatives and stuff that'll be going overseas, and who's the first person they put up front? The Black men of color. That's what I don't
will
like.
be here this next time. We won't be having to go over. when the shit really hits the fan, it will be here. And lucky for us, everybody got a gun.
Yeah. Well, again, it goes back to that point of view that who we pick. Actually, I have to do it. It's difference.
Do it.
Yeah. This is one individual, one person. We all know that. This is one. This can strike a blow that cannot do anything. This is a collective of everybody together. That's the difference. And we are not together. Everyone is like this. How easy is it to pick this off? How many times? Yeah, how many times have you snagged your thumb in your jacket pocket and it jammed your finger? How many times you've been playing basketball, you hit your thumb, you crack your knuckle, it hurt for 3 days, you slam two fingers in the car door because you're not thinking with that wholeness of just they can move individually by themselves, but as a collective, they move as one. So when we move as one and we understand as one, and that's not just with America or American people, that's with people who
all over the world.
All over the world.
Yeah,
you know, it's not Netanyahu or Putin or any of these dictators are not just sitting that are the biggest and the baddest and the boldest and fought their way into power. They didn't fight their way into power. They don't get their hands dirty. They don't get their hands dirty. They get other people to get their hands
to do that dirty work. Yeah.
So that's that difference. They understand something that the people of this world do not understand, which is, yes, one person can do a lot, but when you come together, it's a mighty blow when everybody's on that same agenda, on that same moral compass. And right now, the world cannot get along with itself because it's scared of itself. And if you are smart enough to know that the world is scared of itself, you can take over. You can easily take over if that's what you try to do.
They create fear. They create fear. It's created.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So I think again, going back to speaking of Halloween and like you said, creating fear, it can be a stimulating thing and it can be an overkill as well. Me personally, I don't ride roller coasters. Don't have a fear. Do not have a fear of heights. We'll jump off a building. Have no problem. We'll jump out of a plane. It's just something different when you strap me down going 60 miles an hour on this mechanical machine that makes this noise. I don't trust it.
Because you're not in control.
I have no control over that. I can say, well, no, it's completely safe. I hope it is.
I hear you.
So I think that's where we as a collective of people, when it comes to politics or what is going on in our world, we need to not be afraid of that and look that monster in the face and see that that monster is not as big as we are.
Right.
And that will, and that if I have you and I have Forrest and I have Miss Joe and I have Norman and I have the fellas that we're getting together today to have a great Halloween party and celebrate and enjoy ourselves. That makes a bigger punch and a bigger impact than the fear could ever do, because what the fear wants us to do is keep us in that corner and keep us complacent. And if we
isolated.
Couldn't have said it any better. Couldn't have said it any better.
I love that. I can listen to you all day, T-Man.
Well, thank you, Miss Joe.
You know that.
Same here.
And y'all, he's not lying about the rides, because I've taken him to Busch Garden a few times as a little boy. He got on rides, but he didn't get on them big ones.
Nah, I take the teacups. I like the teacups.
No, I remember.
I have a memory.
What is it, Forrest?
What is it?
When I was in elementary school, I can see myself back then with my little costume and stuff on. That was the first time I was on stage. And so that was the first time that I was ever singing to an audience was when I was in elementary school. So that's a memory that I'll always cherish.
In your Halloween costume?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
It was a play.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember what character you were?
I don't remember the character, no.
But you got a good feeling out of it, huh?
Yes.
That's nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, I came in a little late, but I don't know about you, but Halloween was always a fun time for me. For the whole neighborhood.
I think Halloween was always a lot of fun. I mean, the activity was at night when I was a kid. We would hang out with the older
That's
kids,
right.
and we would just run from house to house and have fun, and I didn't even go to my mama's house. For what? I knew the candy that was there. I wanted the candy was
there you
at
go.
somebody else's house.
Yes.
Yeah, and all of those activities, and we had scary ghost stories, and
yes,
would
it
jump
was a
out
fun
at you,
time.
And all of that was meant to be fun. None of it was more to to conjure up fear.
There you go.
To frighten you. It wasn't ever a sense that, especially as children, it wasn't never to be an extent to make you not want to sleep at night.
Right.
Do you remember the candy apple?
Oh, do I?
So the candy apple, if you got a candy apple, then you got the prize.
There you go. Yes, you did, Forrest. Yes, you did. I can remember the teacher teaching us. I still remember this one song. Black cat, Halloween, witches on broomstick. It was a fun time.
That was fun.
But now things are different. But they make a big thing out of it up here for the kids. Do they have trunk Halloween parties in Virginia?
They have what?
Trunk.
They have a lot of things like that now. Where the candy's supposed to be safe,
Yes.
And you have fewer houses that are doing candies, but you have more houses that have decorations. You can ride through the neighborhood and look at the Halloween decorations the way that you can ride through the neighborhood and look at Christmas decorations.
Right.
So that's how it is up here.
Yes, so that, to me, that brings out the fun of it,
Yeah.
and I think that when people, stop being, stop putting, fear of their religion into it,
Leave it out. There you
and
go.
leave that out, because, if you did it religiously, it was all about you meeting up with your departed members of your family.
Yeah.
What they do, what is the Deus Das Dablo down in Mexico,
Yeah, the Day of the
where
Dead.
the people go to the graveyards of those people in their families, and that's where they have
Cinco de
fun.
Mayo. Yeah,
You
is it
know? So,
Cinco de Mayo?
no,
No,
Cinco
that's
de Mayo
the
is May
4th
the
of
5th.
May.
That
Yeah,
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 4th of
it's
yeah.
May.
Dablos dos Dios or something. I don't know the name of it, but but I think every culture has some form of when the living meet up with the ancestors of those who are dearly departed.
Right.
Mhm.
And it was never a time of fear. Now, they always had some things where you got to be cautious because the spirits are out, and make sure you don't run into a bad spirit, and don't talk or don't say this unless you know that somebody, and all of that was, the part that gave you that adrenaline rush, but none of it had to do with, you're going to go to hell. You're going to go to hell if you happen to hand out a Milky Way bar to somebody.
Ain't that sad?
Yeah.
So. I hope the kids, I know my grandkids been having fun because they started their celebration at school this week,
Mhm.
and they've been having a ball,
Yeah.
Like I said, my times with Halloween, y'all, I look forward to it. And you're right. We always had the older kids guiding us, younger ones. You know what I'm saying? Looking out for us.
Yeah, looking out for us. And then you didn't carry that little orange bucket. You had a pillowcase.
There you
Right.
go.
There we go.
You may have had
pillowcase with you.
And that candy lasted all the way until Easter.
Yeah, it did.
My mother would take that candy from me and my brother because we come back with candy upon candy. I just thought I was in candy heaven.
It'll last all the way until Easter. You be eating those little candy corns and Peeps at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Peeps, candy corns.
I think I'm gonna get some of those today to remind me of Halloween.
I was just thinking the same thing. When I go to check my mail, I'm gonna run in the Safeway and get me a bag of candy corn just for myself because I love them.
Well, do you all ever can you tell the difference? This was something that I always noticed, me personally. I could tell the difference between Halloween and Christmas because the smells change.
Yes.
Candy corn, I could smell candy corns, and then I can remember. And during Christmas time, I know that fresh fruit is now have been put out at my grandmother's house.
Or the
So
pine.
now
Right.
there were different smells to each season and what was going on. And I think those things right there, with us having the senses that we have, I think those things are the things that we kind of we lose as we get older, and we also hold on to as well. I know it's the time right now, like I said, it's coming into November. I know it's the time to go ahead and start getting fresh fruit so I can keep out, get the cashews, the nuts, that and all that. Everything has a shell on it, and it's just a smell that can come over and permeate throughout the atmosphere, where it makes people a lot more comfortable and docile when they are around. I don't see that, and I don't get that often. Like when I take the kids out for trick or treating, or just out and about for, you know, a normal holiday party, I sometimes I miss that smell. So I usually snatch their pillowcases and I smell it. I'm like, oh, does it smell like Halloween? They're like, Dad, get your nose out, get your face out my candy. I'm like, no, I need to smell Halloween. Like, I need to know it's Halloween. You know, it
I
was a certain
still,
smell.
yeah, you're right, because I still, to me, Thanksgiving, the whole town smell. I mean, whether I'm in Virginia, New York, or here in Alaska, seems like the whole place smell like turkey. You know what I'm saying?
Just
So,
great.
Thanksgiving smell like chitlins.
Ew, come on.
Well, I mean, you know, and that's just the thing, is that, you know, whatever your tradition is, everybody has a different tradition, and you know, the tradition is the thing that you know that brings in those smells, and that we continue to bring on that tradition, and that's one, you know, that's one of the things that we can pass on to our children, and you know, so that they're not doing it just because, but they're doing it because, you know, it's a tradition that we do in our family, and this
yeah,
is something that, you know, this is a memory that you're going to create for your grandchildren, and your grandchildren can create that for their grandchildren, and
yeah,
it brings in, what you call it, continuity from one generation to another
to
generation.
another, yeah.
Yeah.
Like T-Man said, with the grandma putting out candy and stuff. My grandmother's thing for the holidays, be it Thanksgiving or Christmas, whenever she was baking rolls, and that's when they had them old time stoves, y'all. She would start singing "His Eye Was on a Sparrow" when the
Right.
rolls was done. That, you know,
Right.
that's just a tradition with her, you know. You're bringing up nice memories before the holiday.
And that's one of the things that we often forget, is that holidays are the holy days. And you know, it was a shame that fear has been cast upon
Everything.
different holidays. I mean, nowadays, you know, people, you know, be upset over Christmas. You know, if you're not, you know, you can't do an X with the Christmas, or you know, if you tell
I still
somebody
do an X
happy
with the Christmas.
holidays, they want to fight with you. You know.
I don't pay them no mind.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is,
that's all based on ignorance, because X in Greek means Christ.
yeah. But see, but nobody knows that. They don't remember that that was the secret way of saying that you were a Christian, when Christians were being hauled off to the lion's den, or to, you know, get torches for one of the emperors. You know, we don't teach we don't teach that type of history anymore to our families, and yeah, you know, you expect some things are going to go on in church and some things are going to go on in school, but it really is important that we as a family teach our own children, because if we don't, they won't have the truth.
Exactly.
But I want to say something.
Go ahead, Forrest.
I think what we should always be mindful is about the celebration of life that we have. So even if we have this holiday of Halloween or Christmas, we have to just be grateful that we're still alive. I was talking to my mom today. She's 84 and she looks amazing. I'm just turned 60. And we just had this conversation about life.
You just turned what?
60.
Oh my goodness! I thought you was in your 40s, but go ahead, Forrest.
But the conversation was about life that we have. And so we have to just be mindful of what's going on in Israel or what's going on around the world, these trials and tribulations that people are going through. We have to just be grateful that we're in America today, even what's going on here in our country. But we have to just be mindful of life that we have. So the celebration of Halloween, like Christmas, is just to be a celebration of life.
And that's so true.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So true.
I agree with you, Forrest. And let me tell you, young man, you look good for your age.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so just to think of some of the things that we also used to do as children, and this is the thing that we also teach our children as well, but things are more limited, because they really cannot go out just on the street by themselves. you know, because there are real monsters out. You know, you can't just let
Yes.
children walk down the street by themselves. You know, you really do have to, you know, be in their company, and you so you know, so some of the things that we do with our, you know, grandchildren, we dress them up and we let them have a great time, and we go out with them, you know, to set to, you know, to be a part of this festive season. And but
Mhm.
then we also talk about, you know, yeah, you know, if we want to look at a scary movie, then, you know, what does the scary movie mean to you? What did you learn about the movie? What did it tell you about yourself? What was your favorite part? You know,
Mhm.
what was the scariest part? So
Mhm.
those are things that, you know, so that they don't become you know, have that energy of fear within them. So that if they do, if they are out at somebody else's house and they have on a scary movie, now, you know, now they can't sleep at night. You
Oh,
know,
well,
but
make y'all laugh. My grandchildren and great grand will put on scary movies, and I be putting that blanket over my head. They say, "Come on, grandma, it ain't that bad." You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad they don't have that foolish fear in them. I just don't like looking at gory stuff. That's all.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, like I say, when it, what you were just speaking of, Pen, one of my favorites, which I did mention, is and I remember the first time I watched it, scared the living daylights out of me, which was the original first Nightmare on Elm Street. I will never forget it. Watched it, was cool. Went to bed that night, had no nightmares, won't even thinking about it the next day. And it was time, and we're in Denby Trace, and my mom is like, it's time, you got to take a bath today. And I said, all right. She was running me a bath, a bath. And right when it was time to get in the bathroom, right when it was time to get in the tub, the lights blew out. And
I
then and right there, the light blew out in the bathroom, and she did not have a light bulb. And everything from the movie rushed back to me when, if you've ever seen it, when the girl falls asleep in the bathtub, and he grabbed her feet under the bathtub, and
Oh
I was like, well, if
Lord.
he got her and she had lights on, I'm not getting in that water. I don't
I'm not
care.
putting my toe in the water.
In there. And he got hurt, and she had lights on in the bathroom. And she, no, 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 no. And I mean, but I also remember the ending of it, on how she beat him, and she told him, every piece of energy that I've given you, this was my fault that you are strong as you are. Every piece of energy that I've given you, I take back. I want my friends back. I want my family back. You're you're a monster. You're nothing compared to me. And she just turned her back, and he had no choice but to disappear and give her strength and her power back, because it was all about her fear, not
Mhm.
and that was
Right.
what was feeding him. Their
Mhm.
fears is what was feeding him. So when she decided to take back and say, you know what, I'm not going to keep fighting you. I'm not going to keep running from you. I'm just going to turn my back on you. It
Mhm.
it changed the whole dynamic of what was going on. So
Mhm.
you go from this crazy monster who thinks that who you think is unstoppable, especially in your dreams. But if you stop and realize, even when you're unconscious, you can
Mhm.
control yourself. You can control what you dream about.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. You
So,
can control things. I like how you said that, because I've been in two serious accident, and I got, and I know age has a lot to do with it too, but I had this fear of driving. Then I made up my mind. I went to God with this, y'all. I said,
Mhm.
Lord, I can't afford a chauffeur. I talks real to God. I said,
Mhm.
I'm a little jittery, but before I leave this house, y'all, I tell him, guide me and everybody else on the road, Lord. And now that I've been doing it lately, and the ice is, I don't have that fear like I used to have, y'all.
Mhm.
And it's a good
That's
feeling.
wonderful.
It's a
Mhm.
good feeling, you
and
Mhm.
know.
I think those are the reminders that we
Mm-hmm.
also forget when it comes to the stories we tell, and we can get so wrapped up into the fear that we forget the triumph.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's
Yes.
always a villain. There's always a villain, but there's always a hero.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, my
Yes.
scariest movie was The Exorcist.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Oh,
I had
yeah.
read the book.
Yeah, I was about to say, you read the book.
first. Yeah, I read the book first, and I was like, 12, 13, because mama let me do anything I wanted to do. So I read the book. The book was terrifying. And the movie was also scary too, because it did have, it had that whole connotation of fear, because here they were beating the priest. That was scary.
Yeah.
How you gonna beat a priest? They're the most powerful. Then they had then they had the little girl, and because it was based on a true story, that was the thing that was really frightening, and it was about a child that was approximately my age. So if it could happen to her, which was the movie, which the book and the movie was about, but the true story
Original
was
was a
about a
boy.
young boy.
Uh-huh.
But if it could happen to her, it could happen to me, and so what do you do in a situation like that? And luckily for me, I had parents and family that we could talk about stuff. Nobody said, "Oh, get out the room. Don't go in here. Don't be talking to me about no ghosts. Don't be talking to me." No, no, no. What did you hear? What did you hear in your room? What did it say? Did it talk to you? What did it look like? We could have open discussions about things like that. So it was something that I knew that, yes, if I can't beat it, my mama can. If my mama can't beat it, my grandma can. And don't let them, you better hope that they don't come together.
Please.
So yeah, but but when you're young, and and then I think we went on our own. It was a bunch of kids going to the movies, and we went to see The Exorcist, and so and then she did the head spin around thing, and the thing with the pea soup, and all of that was so gross. But that wasn't the scary part. The scariest parts were the part where the devil was tricking the priest. And the devil was, the demon legion was inside, and they gave names. They gave actual names of demons. In this story. So and then you saw that it came from the Ouija board, and who didn't have one of those? That was a Christmas present the year before. So those were always. So that was one of my scariest movies. And the next scariest movie I ever saw was Jaws. Scared the wits out of me, but I'm afraid.
Wow, great movie to think of, Penn. That's a great movie.
The scariest movie ever. The scariest to be eaten by a fish. That scares me now. I don't go in the ocean. I don't go in the water where there's real fish.
How about anybody else, Miss Harriet? I know you guys can give me a throwback.
It didn't really scare me, but I never will forget when I went to see The Birds.
Oh yeah, that was Mama scared. That,
Remember the birds.
Yeah. I was married at the time, and my husband, I mean, this big, tall dude, 6'4", the size of a linebacker, and he's ducking all behind me, and
like you're gonna protect him from the birds.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie, Harriet. The Birds.
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah. Y'all taking
And-
old JoJo back.
What about you, Joanne? What was your scary movie?
No, I was like you with Jaws. I like I told you, I didn't look at too many, but I said anytime a fish can eat through a boat and stuff, I maybe that's why I have my fear of water. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Mhm.
and I mean, and it's really happening today. Sharks is eating the hell out of people.
Sharks are on cocaine.
I will give you
Yeah. Yeah, they I mean that was the big thing this summer, that somebody had dropped off some cocaine, hiding it from the
Oh,
I guess the
Coast
Coast
Are you
Guard,
you
and the sharks
serious,
got
huh?
hold of it. Yes, the
and the
sharks got
sharks
hold of
got
the
it.
cocaine. They were all coked up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well,
That should
Yeah.
have been my
Wow.
I'll give
friend.
you one, Miss Joe. I'll give you one that I saw in your house. I'll never forget it. Y'all, and it was the videotape. Me and Norman, we watched Death by Temptation, and it was a all black cast.
Okay.
I never even heard of that.
And
No, I'm trying to remember in my mind.
well,
Who
you'll
was in
probably
it?
Kadeem Harris from A Different World was in it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, well he grew up with me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched that.
Well, we had Death by Temptation, and he wasn't the
I
leading
remember
actor,
it now when you mention
and
his
I
name.
can't pull that up.
and he it was a very it was
You
an
mean his
all black
name was
cast.
Kadeem Hardison?
Kadeem Hardison, yes, from A Different
Okay,
World.
because I knew his grandfather and grandmother. I didn't really know his mother that well, but she had him, in the building when we were children, and we used to push his stroller and stuff. I remember that.
Oh, okay.
We had that. We watched that movie. That's one I didn't sleep on. That's one that kept me up. But it was so funny because I always remember that because it was an all black movie. It was
Yeah.
the whole cast was surrounded by situations that were going on with black people. It was very similar to The Exorcist. This woman was a demon and she was after this young boy, and he was supposed to be a great preacher when he grew up, and she was trying to tempt him into it. And it was it was an intense movie. And just to see like-minded people, again, some of the movies that we named, no disrespect and not trying to take it to a different level, but a lot of the movies that we named were all white casts. There were no black people in it. But when you see a movie that is all black, scripted, written, that's a little bit scarier. I was never scared of Dracula or any of the monsters in Dracula. But I got a thing about those vampires in Blackula. Every vampire he turned in Blackula, they get ashy and they just look a different way.
But look, y'all, hopefully tomorrow, I want y'all all to stay blessed. I got a dip. And I'm giving thanks that I was able, because I wanted to hear
if
your
you do come tomorrow we're gonna have a ceremony at the end. So if you have a candle, some cinnamon, a candle, some cinnamon, or any type of crystal. Yeah.
Sage. Oh yeah, I keep sage in here.
Well, not sage, because sage is not gonna be a part of it.
Okay.
But that's why I'm asking for cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon is going to be a part of the ceremony. Yeah.
So cinnamon, and what else? A candle? I have
a candle, either a white candle, a green candle, or a yellow candle.
Okay. Y'all stay blessed.
Or if you have a citrine or a tiger's eye, that would be great.
No, I don't have no tiger's eye. But let me say this to y'all. Stay blessed. I'm so glad I was able to at least hear your voices. And hopefully you'll see me tomorrow, okay?
I send you lots of love.
Love you. Glad you made it.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So Forrest, what was your movie?
Who, me?
Yeah, what was the movie that you saw that was scary to you?
Mine was when that lady turned her head. I don't know the name of it. When she turned her head.
The Exorcist.
Exorcist. That was the scariest movie for me. Now I have a question, Harriet. Can you do the definition of a demon? What's the definition of a demon?
Hold on.
Well, isn't that it, I find that so funny that you all both said The Exorcist and you both spoke on the scene, which is the biggest, the biggest scene of the movie.
Mhm.
And now I see it, and I see it in so many parodies of scary movies now. As a matter of fact, the Wayans brothers did it in Scary Movie 2. The priest walked in and the girl was possessed and her whole head turned around and the priest I mean completely like on The Exorcist, just and the priest looked and was like, oh fuck this, and walked out the room.
Right.
And at the time there had never
that was
been
scary.
at the time there was some amazing special effects.
Yeah.
Nobody had ever done anything like that.
Yeah, so the
Mhm.
special effects, that's what I mean. The special
Yeah.
effects from then till now on how we see certain things. Yeah, it is a bigger shock value and a bigger shock and awe value. I mean, if it doesn't take you back where somebody's whole head spin around,
Mhm.
and their bed is levitating, if that doesn't scare, if that's not enough to scare you, then yeah, it's you need a bigger shock value.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I do think that the animation, but also this creation that we get with this,
Oh, absolutely.
it's so much creation. Like I said, I really enjoyed that you said Jaws. I really enjoyed the birds. Miss Harriet said the birds. That is funny, because I've seen it. The Night of the Leapers.
Night
I
of the
mean, who?
Leapers. I
Yeah,
never
who would
saw
ever
that.
think that? Who would ever think you could make a crazy B-rated movie scary where it's a bunch of giant rabbits running around?
Oh yeah, see, I never would have watched that.
You know?
Never, just hearing that. Yeah. Giant rabbits.
Giant rabbits just hopping around. I mean, so the imagination of so many different things, and like we all were saying, what we have caught and what either scared us or what made us go, I like this shock value,
Yeah,
either,
because a whole industry came out of that.
yeah.
That whole special effects industry came out of that. So
Mhm.
did you find it yet, Harriet? Demon?
Yes.
Mhm.
An evil spirit or devil, especially one thought to possess a person or act as a tormentor in hell.
Oh, so they don't have it as an angel?
Nope.
Wow.
It just says an evil spirit or devil.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they use the word spirit.
Well, that's that's different. Well, I guess maybe from different philosophies, it would be an evil spirit. But in our Abrahamic tradition, and I don't even think it's when I think about it, it's never even stated in the Bible that the fallen angels were demons. Is it?
They take us back to Enoch.
But
Take it
was
back.
it
We're not
stated that the fallen angels were demons?
the
No,
Nephilim.
they were the
No,
watchers.
they were chained up, but their offspring could not go to heaven and were just doomed to be spirits on earth.
Okay.
Okay, so they weren't classified as demons. They
So
were
I think
classified as
personally, I think that's where you get your demons, as far as the definition of what was just read. Because they didn't go to
that's what I'm saying is, that's not the definition. That's the connotation. That's what we have always been told. That's where
Right.
demons came from.
Okay. I did some further digging.
Thank you.
Angels. The term angel, which is derived from the Greek word angelos, if I'm pronouncing it correct, it's spelled Angelos, is the equivalent of the Hebrew word malach, MAL hyphen AKH. meaning
Okay.
messenger. The
Mhm.
literal meaning of the word angel thus points more towards the function or status of such being as in cosmic hierarchy rather than toward connotations or of essence or nature. And when I look at the word demon, because this article is titled, comes up angels and demons. The term demon is derived from the Greek word daimon, probably daemon, which
Demon. It's still demon.
which means a supernatural being or spirit, though it has commonly been associated with an evil or malevolent spirit. The term originally meant a spiritual being that influenced a person's character.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's kind of interesting because we have that's one of the things that we have always been told is that the fallen angels were the ones who were the demons. And well, I guess they did negatively influence. But then again, what's a negative influence? Because in this place
Yeah.
of time where the negative turns into the positive, so.
But okay, when you look at the book of Enoch, those watchers, those angels that came to earth, were they? Because it seems to
they
me
weren't
like
the fallen ones, were they? The watchers weren't the fallen ones, were they?
no,
Yes.
They were.
Yes.
Oh.
They didn't fall with Lucifer. This is not
No.
not Lucifer's war. This has nothing to do with Lucifer. This was after the fact. So the war in heaven between God and Lucifer had already happened. What happened with the Watchers were they decided to fall. They decided to come to earth. That's why it's called the fall. They came here. They came on our plane. They acted like humans on our plane. They reproduced
because they impregnated the women that were here.
Those seeds had the embodiment of them and also us mortals. They could not transition back to heaven because it was an abomination. That's the abomination.
Right.
So even though they had long lifespans or the flood happened or somebody got killed, somebody hit somebody in the head with a rock or something, their souls, for the lack of a better word, their souls by being part human could not could not transition. So it had to stay here, could not go to heaven. It cannot join forces because it wasn't a creation of what God's plan was.
Now, but you just said that you're saying that about the Watchers.
No, the Watchers. They are
their offspring.
It's their offspring who are the demons who are stuck here. Their spirits cannot leave Malakut. They can't leave this plane because they were not a part of God's creation. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, so the Nephilim are the demons.
So they're children, yes. The Nephilim.
Oh, okay.
Once
Okay.
they were white,
So, but the Watchers simply fell, but they can't come back. They can't go back either.
They're just they're being punished. They're in Sheol.
Okay.
That's that's that part. They're in Sheol and chained up or gotta sit there and look at stars for where they're
yeah, that's what the lake of fire is for. The lake of fire
their
is for
punishment.
them.
They're just they're somewhere, they in the old school prison. They in a real old school prison. Let's just say it like that.
I didn't think that they were caught yet. I didn't know that they were caught already. Have we gotten to that part yet?
Yes.
Oh, we got to that part.
That was in the first book of Enoch.
That was in the first book?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And they got caught and then they went to Sheol.
Yeah, that's where
Uh-huh.
Enoch tells them when they pray to Enoch and say, "Hey, Enoch, can you intercede?" And Enoch like, "Nope, I can't get in
Oh
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't
Uh-huh.
get in this. Y'all in trouble."
I ain't getting in the middle of this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
No,
bodies
and the more
and
the more we read and study the book of Enoch, the more I realize why those powers that be back in the whenever decided not to include it, because it makes them face certain truths that they don't want to face.
Yeah.
well, again, like I say, again, I think we shared this before. Then I think we shared this planet with a lot more of
Yeah,
other
Mhm.
species
yes, we
besides
did.
just
Yeah.
Do
human
you
Mhm.
beings.
ever watch? Do you ever watch? Was it Ancient Aliens or something on the History Channel, Andre?
Mhm.
Oh, I'm an ancient alien OG. I'm OG triple OG.
I
But
believe
yeah,
we're all angels.
but I do believe I think we share those things, and I do think that those spirits um can still um manifest in some type of way. I'm not sure if you have to believe in them or give them energy or give them power, but I think it's up to I think I don't think every I think again it goes back to that just as simple as I could say it to break it down. On your left shoulder, you may have the little devil. On your right shoulder, you may have the little angel. That consciousness. So
Mm-hmm.
when you do decide, there's always gonna be something in the air. I think even going back to what Miss Joanne was saying earlier, how that man was hearing voices
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. Um, Sometimes it can get loud. I guess. So, I mean, I hope that don't happen to me, but sometimes I guess it can get loud, and I guess it's when it's angry or you're angry or not in your right stable mind that it's easier to um I don't want to use the word possess, but I will for this matter,
Mhm.
for something to take control. Again,
Mm-hmm.
for fear to take control, for it to be easy for you to be influenced, for you to be backed in a corner where you do not know anything to do but either fight or flight. And
Mhm.
so I do, see those parts of certain things. Um, I respect it highly. I have to. You know, I've learned from my aunt Doris. If I see a shadow, I go ahead and I know. Wait a minute, why is that shadow? That shadow shouldn't move like that. I already know that. Okay, let me go ahead and start running my mouth and say, okay, whatever is in here, you're not allowed to be around me unless you coming with, if you just here checking on me saying, hey, but if you here trying to be sneaky, I don't like that.
Right.
You need to
Mhm.
go ahead and go. You're not gonna hide in here.
Mhm.
So is there energy like that around? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it
Mm-hmm.
residual or is it conscious? I don't know.
Right. Mhm.
But
Yeah.
that's, I mean, again, speaking on Halloween, that's how I just take that part of a barrier being so thin where we can communicate. So again, it's also paying attention and watching what you're doing and understanding your own energy.
Environment.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Well,
Sorry to be long-winded.
oh, say that again.
Sorry to be long-winded.
Oh no, no, not at all. Because I mean, all of these are things that it really has something to do with who we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the things we have heard, either have um, you know, given us, cause for fear, whether we are afraid of it or not. And fear is and fear is remember, it's an appearance of it being real. So fear has nothing to do with just the emotion that's in your body. It all it's a concept that has taken root in our consciousness, in our mind.
Hmm.
So, if we have just like, that's why I said, you know, the real monsters that, you know, made Halloween a scary thing were those, you know, Christian, what do you call it? The moral majority.
Majority.
Yeah, when they, you know, made you know, things that have to do with you know, like ghosts and things that they wanted to bring fear about. Now they have embedded that type of fear into the hearts and minds of America. And now it's to the point where, you know, we have so many people who are saying that they are atheists or saying that they are, you know, bona fide, you know, Satanists, or, you know, are saying these things simply because I think that because they created the influence. Not saying that they weren't always some Satanists around, but, you know, just, you know, you just didn't walk
Yeah.
around town and see a Satanist where you can now. So
Yeah. Yeah. I do think
yeah.
I do think that fear of religion did stain something that could have been a very good holiday. You know, and again, and it got that stain seems to last upon it. Like, you know, it's a trip to hear people who say, "Oh, I don't celebrate Halloween," but yet and still you go to the store and you buy the whole bag of Halloween candy.
Mhm.
You know, um, or it's just funny to see how the fear of people allows them to tiptoe around it
Yeah.
instead of understanding something or embracing something. And I'm not saying embrace evil or anything like that, no, but to understand
Mhm.
where Halloween is. Most people will tell you that that they don't celebrate Halloween because that's the devil's day. Well,
Actually,
that's what my
actually,
pastor told me. Well, where the hell is that in the Bible?
it's not. Because Halloween, first of all, Halloween came about long after the Bible was written or put together, I should say. And also, Halloween is actually, if you look back at the history of Halloween itself, it began, I forget now what the pronunciation of it is, but it was a Gaelic
Samhain.
holiday. No.
It's Samhain.
Samhain, yes, that's it. Thank you. And it began as a holiday, and I think it was Pope Gregory that decided to move that celebration to the I think it was the day before or the day before All Saints Day, which is November the 1st. And they called it and I don't remember the exact way it is put together, but it boils down to Halloween, meaning All Saints Day, and it's All Saints Eve. I'm sorry, All Saints
Yeah.
Eve, because
All Hallows
November
Eve.
1st is All Saints Day, huh?
All Hallows Eve.
Yeah, All Hallows Eve. Thank you.
And it's just traditions, you know, being blended together. So I never understood why I got so much, you know, flack. I'm like, it's one of the best times of the year, actually. You know, around this time, it's not too hot, it's not too cold. the leaves are changing, especially in the environments that we are in. So I guess it also has to do with environments and the culture as well too. But
Mhm. Say
I
that
don't.
again.
I said I guess it has to do with environments and cultures as well. But I don't. But I've never heard of like a spike in crime during Halloween night. You know, nobody usually everybody's minding their own business on at least on
Yeah, we
Halloween.
just had a lot of pranksters. You know,
Yeah,
people toilet paper your house. Nobody doing that anymore.
Or
Toilet paper costs too
throwing
much.
eggs at your
Throwing
property
eggs.
or your
Eggs
car.
cost too much
Yeah.
money. Ain't nobody throwing an
yeah.
egg.
That costs too much money now. Ain't nobody doing that. You know, might throw a couple Pokemon cards at you or something, but you know, ain't nobody throwing no eggs and no toilet paper with it. That's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody mama coming out there
What
definitely get you.
what I can't understand is why people, so-called Christians, will how do I want to put, they will condemn something before they look into it and really understand what it's all about and why it came to be.
They don't look into it.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
and
they
no,
refuse
they
to
will
look into
condemn
it.
it. They will condemn it without
Yeah.
any understanding or knowledge of it. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they refuse. I mean, because that's where the fear comes from.
Yeah.
If they
Well,
look into it, they might, something might happen if they
yeah.
look into it,
Again, that's that being backed in that corner and not opening your eyes and just praying, instead of confronting whatever it
Fighting
is
back.
you're
Yeah.
trying to fight. You know, it may be three big monsters in your face, but you gotta take somebody on. You
Does
know,
Mhm.
you gotta understand one of them.
does anybody remember the scene in, if you saw the movie, oh gosh, can't think of the name, where the Australian guy was in the outback, oh God, what's the name of that
What was he
movie?
doing?
Huh?
What was he doing in the outback?
Well, he was an Australian, and that's where he lived. Crocodile Dundee, that's the movie.
Oh, okay.
And when he was confronted with some kind of a fierce animal, he used his fingers and his eyes and kind of hypnotized to subdue that animal. And they talk about, I mean, and I have seen examples of that portrayed in other movies where somebody uses their hypnotic powers to calm an out of control animal.
Or a dangerous animal. Yeah,
Exactly.
I know what you're talking about. You when you said it again, going on there is it was so cool the way Eddie Murphy did it in Vampire in Brooklyn when they were. If you've ever seen Vampire in Brooklyn, they're in the club, they're in the Jamaican club or the Haitian club, and he commands the snake to break out of the glass, and it's a big giant cobra, and he's putting the girl that he wants in danger with this snake so he can rescue her, and make it look so when she sees the snake, she's stuck. She's like, oh god, it's a giant cobra, and cobra's hissing, and he hypnotizes the snake again and grabs it, and he's like, no, then they're just like us. They're very misunderstood creatures,
Mhm.
so it's I, we've seen shamans do that. We've seen people who snake charmers and things like that. Uh, I that level of control and understanding, I do think is something that is something that
We
you
all
have
have
to,
that. I think we all have that power. We just
Oh,
don't.
absolutely. Yeah, we
We
just have
don't
to learn how to use it.
use it exactly.
yeah. It just
Mhm.
with me again, dogs.
Mhm.
I don't care how vicious your dog is. Your dog see me, your dog gonna stop barking at me. Cause I'm like, dog, it's either you got one bite.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give it to you. You got one bite.
Mhm. Yeah, because they can sense our fear. Well, it's 3:45. Do we want to? I mean, it's just us, and I don't, might not take that long if y'all wanted to just, have one more round of scary stuff before we do
Yeah.
a round table.
Round table.
Well, I'll go first
Okay.
with the round table. I thank you all for allowing me to um, have a good time and bring in All Hallows Eve in the positive way that it should be brought in, and enjoying each other's company and laughing and talking about past tense things and thrilling things and reminding each other. Uh, uh, I'm definitely gonna take that with me this evening. I'm gonna go hang out with my other friends, and so I'm definitely gonna take these lessons with me and remind them. Like I said, I have a great costume. I am going to be a gremlin. It's gonna be funny. So I'm gonna take this conversation with me to let everyone definitely feed off this good energy that we have instead of fear.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else?
Can I go
Well,
next?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Harriet.
No, go ahead, Tom.
I just want to say, I enjoyed this conversation today. It just made me put a smile on my face, and I'm going to enjoy my day, the rest of my day. And I love all of you, and just thank you for just allowing me to be part of this group and spread love and happiness to everybody here. And I'm not going to have any fear today. Thank you.
Great.
Thank
Right.
you. Thank you. Go ahead. Yeah, hurry up. Go ahead.
Oh, well, all I'm going to say is thanks for the memories. No, it was great because it just kind of, like I said, brought back a lot of memories of movies and things. Because for me, dealing with scary stuff was usually through movies and television. Because growing up out in the country, we didn't celebrate Halloween like kids in the city did. Because I mean, neighbors were so far off, and of course, people were more, I think they were more economical, and they didn't go, mom and dad ain't gonna wait no gas to run you around to collect candy. So yeah.
So thank you. Yeah, for me, yeah, this was a fun session. I think that every now and then we just need to just cut loose and have some fun. And we looked at who some real monsters are, and everybody, and the thing is that everybody's fear is different. So like I do have, and there was a question that I had wanted to ask everybody too, is what is your irrational fear? My irrational fear, like I said, are fish and earthworms. It's neither one of them can hurt me, well, except for Jaws. That's why Jaws was so scary, because you could be eaten by a fish. But those are irrational fears for me. So does does anybody else have an irrational fear?
I don't.
Maggots.
You don't have anything that you're afraid of for no reason.
I'm not.
Maggots.
That's wonderful.
Maggots. I hate maggots. I hate it. That is the worst thing in the world you can show me. I know that they can't hurt me, but it's something about those things I just do not.
They are creepy.
They don't sit well with me. They don't sit well with me.
My granddaughter last week, she was here, so we took the trash out. We wore our gloves. We wore some rubber gloves so that because the maggots were on the trash can. So that was a nice little lesson, because I was telling her, that it has to be a certain temperature. The maggots don't like to be out in the afternoon in the heat. They like the coolness of the day, and that they're fly larvae. So and she doesn't mind touching them, playing with them, but she's afraid of the fly. She'll run for the. She was out trying to outrun the fly the other day and ran into the door.
Oh my God, poor
And
baby.
so, like I said, if you can play with the baby fly, the maggot, you don't have to be afraid of him when he's grown up. So,
Because they're all
tell her how to
smaller than
kill
she is.
flies.
I don't like you if you're a baby, and I don't like you when you become a teenager.
Yeah, or
Stay away
daddy or
from me.
whatever, a mama.
Stay away from me.
Yeah, so I taught her how to kill flies.
Ooh,
That's what I say.
that's
So,
that women like me.
yeah. So, how about you, Harriet? What's your irrational fear?
I would say bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, they're all smaller than me. So why should I be afraid of them?
Right.
As long as, I'm fine as long as I can see them and I know that I can do something about it. But I don't like bugs. I don't like to be.
Miss Harry sitting there with a 6-foot cockroach at the grocery store. She don't care. If she can see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I had, that everybody has a different thing that deep down inside, there's nowhere in the world that's why I really do not swim in the ocean. I don't swim in the ocean because there are fish in there. What would I have to do? Like if I was in Hawaii when the whole island was burning, now I got to get in the water. Safer in the water with the fish.
I'm gonna have to look. You think I'm gonna have to burn on this one?
And I tell people all the time, if something happens wild in the world, if I have to hook an earthworm to catch a fish, I'm gonna starve. I'm gonna starve. How am I gonna do that? I do it, touch the worm, catch the fish. No, no. So, and those are the things that I think that makes life enjoyable. Here we're having a lot of fun talking about it, and it's really funny because but some people are immobilized because of their irrational fears. Exactly. Their irrational fears are very, very real and can be very, very harmful. And that might have been one of the reasons.
And dangerous too.
Yeah, that might have been one of the reasons that make somebody go and shoot up a town, because of their irrational fears. And I think that
yeah, what were those voices?
I'm not getting back into politics. I'm gonna leave that part alone because
yeah, because what were those voices saying to him?
Yeah, and that's just the thing, and if we live and we do know that he listened to a lot of Fox News, so that's why I said I'm not getting back into politics, but some things, the proof is in the pudding, of where the real monsters are. And I think that it's so important to have a spiritual journey so that you can discuss things like ghosts and monsters or something else, and you can really be able to delineate what it actually is, so that you're walking down the street, and you're afraid of a zombie coming out, but actually, here comes, here comes your congressman.
Well, can I tell you something so funny? Okay, so I was saying
me.
Right.
Say that again for us.
I'm gonna tell you something so funny. So I was like, I want to wear this black turtleneck, right? I said, "Where's my black turtleneck?" And guess where it was? Underneath my bed. So I found my black turtleneck today, and he's going to clean.
Oh, and what, you had to look under your bed to get it?
I was sitting on my floor, and that's what it was underneath my bed. So I'm on the word for Thanksgiving.
And that's that's another irrational fear, especially when you're a child, if something is up under your bed, But it's 3:54. So just now, tomorrow we have Kabbalah, and we're gonna do a little ceremony at the end. So if you have a candle, a white candle, a yellow candle, or a green candle, please bring those things. We have some cinnamon, excuse me, a tiger's eye, some citrine, or whatever you have. If you bring whatever you have. I shouldn't have said don't bring sage, because whatever you have is going to be available to use to bring clarity into our lives. That's what we're working on. So.
And what time is that?
That's from 2 to 4.
Okay, great.
From 2 to 4 tomorrow. Then and Forrest, you said you would like to sing a song at the end?
Yes.
Or sometime, okay. Now, so that's for Sunday. Now, of course, Wednesdays we have A Course in Miracles from 5 to 6:30. We have I Am on Thursdays, that is from 11 to 11:30. Excuse me, on Thursdays. Then Thursday evenings we have the book Flight, which is I'm not even gonna start that, because that would we would be on here another 2 hours.
Okay.
But we got the book Flight from 7 to 8:30. And then next Saturday is the first Saturday, correct? Yes, next Saturday is the first Saturday in November. And I have lost my calendar, y'all. I don't know what I did with it. So I'm not really sure of what that date is. Does anybody know? I think Thursday is the first, right?
No, Wednesday's the first.
Wednesday's the first? Okay.
Wednesday is the fourth.
Friday, so that would be the 4th.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we normally do on 4? The Gospel of Thomas.
Yeah.
Yes,
the first Saturday of the month.
First Saturday is Gospel of Thomas. And the first Sunday, which we have, we missed a couple of weeks ago, is Writers Group. So yeah. So if you have anything that you've been working on as a writer, or something that you want to write on, or do you want to talk about plot development or something like that, just let us know, and that's the thing that we'll talk about and discuss on the second. I mean on the 5th. And then on the 12th, everybody come to my house, because that's our tarot session, and we will be working on our tarot spreads. We're gonna do a tarot spreads. We're gonna cleanse cards. We're gonna learn how to we'll add this ceremony in along with it. So I think that that's gonna be a fun session when we use our tarot. I mean, when we do our tarot session, and that's gonna be November the 12th. And that's it, everybody. So would anyone like to close out? Any questions or comments?
No.
Okay. Would anyone like to close out in prayer?
I'll take it.
Okay.
Again, Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to come together, to commune together, to speak on our fears and be able to laugh them away, to understand one another from a personal point of view in a deeper way, of the things that can get up under our skin and make us uncomfortable and give us goosebumps. It's good to know our brothers and sisters in every way, so we can treat them as the vessels that you made them to be, which are so beautiful and so fragile. So allow us to go along our day, our week, our month, our year, understanding that when we are all together and when we are all a whole, we are still one. We are what you want us to be in creation. With this said, peace and blessings.
Peace
and
and
blessings.
Thank you very much.
Love you.
Love you all.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.